Project Jeep. I'm gonna build this thing up. Bought it for $500. $500 I bought this thing. Want to take a look at it? Show you around. It is a $500 1998 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. 5.2 liter V8. Lots of rot. Most likely gonna cut it all up. Start from scratch. Fiberglass, carbon fiber, maybe both, maybe all of the above. Who knows? We'll see how it is when I get there, because technically this is a budget build. I don't make that much, so therefore I can't spend that much. Which means I have to do everything fabrication wise. So it should be fun. I kind of like that stuff. I love fabricating. It's a good time. As long as you learn a little bit of information, you can just go with it. So, from what I've learned, carbon fiber, carbon Kevlar, fiberglass, those composites, they're pretty much made the same way. And you can make them in your yard, or anywhere, a barn, anywhere, so long as you have proper ventilation. I will be eventually building a ventilation tent, filter, an air filter. I don't want to be pumping all those chemicals into the ozone. I need to be making a bigger hole than I'm already making. So, when the time comes, we will get to work on that together. For now, this is what I got to deal with. This project for the body is going to take a long time. It's going to take the same amount of time as mechanics are going to take. So as I'm going along, I'm going to be progressing at the same time with the mechanics and the body work, because I'm the only one doing it. So therefore, I got to do both. Usually, customizers will take it, send it off to the body shop. They'll do their body thing, upholstery, whatever. They got specialists. I'm all of the above, or I will be, because again, this is my first build. I'm gonna try and make it worth it, you know, something worthy of selling and custom truck. Nobody's got one like it, so you're gonna want it. Or maybe even doing such a good job at this that you at home can do the same exact thing. Like, you'd be surprised at the things you could do with very limited tools and resources. So, lots of rot. Eventually, at first I was just gonna grind it out, paint it up, be done with it, you know, leave it pretty much factory. Then I realized, why not shed some weight and add some strength to it, and then when I do the body, I can then do whatever I want. I can make it have huge wheel wells so that I could stick some big tires in there if I wanted to. Really, my goal is to make it an on-road and off-road beast. I'm gonna do a hydraulic system on actuators that pivot, that allow me to gain height, so I could put really big hydraulic shocks down inside those wheel wells. And then when I want to drop the truck and drive it on the roads, because I don't need that much height and I'm trying to conserve fuel, I lower it and it pivots on actuators and changes the angle of the suspension so that it can pretty much make it smaller and still function properly. That's later on down the road. So when I'm doing the body, I'm going to be keeping things like that in mind. I gotta leave room. Definitely fender flares. Gotta have fender flares. I'm probably gonna do a wide body on this, because this year Grand Cherokee is very narrow. Very, very narrow. It's a small SUV for the time. They just decided to stick V8s in them for some reason. Don't ask why. It was 1998 after all, and gas was like $1 a gallon. So that probably had something to do with it. You could drive around with a big V8 and you didn't have to worry about the price of fuel. So we're going to do fender flares. We're going to do composites all the way around so that I don't have to deal with rust ever again. And when you crack those things, say you hit a rock and you cracked it and it's fiberglass, you can patch it real easy. And then you sand it down and paint it up. Fiberglass is amazing. Race car drivers, non-pros, and they do all that work themselves. The fiberglass is a great deal because they can patch it up themselves, sand it down, and get it within specifications that whatever circuit they're in makes them meet. As you can see, there is a lot of corrosion on the rocker panels. In fact, they're pretty much gone. Dude hit something. Look at that. That's what's left. Paint and melted metal. So, I got nothing to work with. It's already gone, so there's no strength to it whatsoever. It's just basically being held on by the paint. I'm gonna cut all that out, and then that gives me the chance to put a pretty sweet body kit on it. You know, make it look like a giant car if I wanted to. Make it look modern. Make it look like something that might have came out of the factory. I'm not gonna go overboard and give it too much flash. I want it to look like it came out of the factory. I want to prove that you and me, on a budget, can build a pretty sweet car that is gonna fool everyone to thinking that this is one of a kind from the factory, but really you built it. It's nothing worse than seeing cars that have way too much flash and look nothing like they came out of the factory, but you can still tell what kind of car it is. You know, Civics, all that good stuff. We don't want that. We want something that looks like it might have came special edition out of the factory and all of its brethren got destroyed, and this is the last one. Doors all messed up. I paid $500 for this. At the time, this was a very expensive SUV. It's got full leather, heated seats, heated mirrors, sunroof, all that good stuff. The headliner's falling off. The door's got holes in it. I'm gonna tear this entire interior apart and custom build it. It's gonna look like this. So keep this as a reference. Always keep this video as a reference. Make your own video. You want to document everything you do to your vehicle. We're going to document everything we do. We're going to have receipts. We're going to have everything so that you can name your price when it's custom. It's custom. There's no other car like it. You can name your price at that point. So, as you can see, it needs work. There's a big hole in the seat. The heated seats don't work anymore. Alright, the hood's got dents and dings in it. This isn't actually that hard to repair. I'm most likely, just to kind of make money back, I'm going to fix all these parts that I'm going to take off up so that I can turn around and sell them and make some money off of it and not have them hanging around. All I need is molds of them. In the future, when I start doing the bodywork, I just need a mold to work with. Once I get that mold out of plaster or fiberglass, whatever I decide to make the mold out of, I'm gonna fix this up and sell it. All the pieces are going to get fixed and sold, because believe it or not, this truck really isn't in that bad a shape. Everything's pretty much here. It's here and it's not destroyed, so therefore I can fix it, especially plastic. Plastic is a lot easier than you think to fix. If you are good with torches or heat guns, you can fix most plastics. And there's techniques, hot, cold techniques. You use heat and cold together, and amazing things happen. Headlights are bad. They were really oxidized. I did a real quick job just so that I could see at night when I had to bring this thing here. So I did a couple hours sanding it, and then I wet sanded it, and then I polished it, and it was good to go. You can see light now. These were so yellow you could not see the headlights. Because old school halogen lights are a yellow color. So when you have oxidized yellow plastic, it's going to dim your light. The engine is stock 5.2 liter V8, no modifications, almost 200,000 miles on it. I had to replace this last weekend, alternator. The alternator was seized. That's a common problem with these Grand Cherokees. So I had to get a serpentine belt, a new alternator, and a new tensioner pulley because the belt actually melted the tensioner pulley right there. Other than that, nothing is new on this. I don't know the last time this thing even had a tune-up. I replaced the air filter and this upper radiator hose last year, and this battery. That's all I've done to the engine compartment. And like I said, for $500, this is in really good shape. It's got a lot of corrosion on it, but it's still one piece. There's no frame damage. That's key. You don't want a vehicle that's been in a major accident. Little bangs up over there, like by that back wheel, that's fine. I can deal with that. It's just body damage. It's just a dent or a ding. The frame is not damaged. That's what's important. So, got a lot of work to do under here. I'm not gonna go crazy with this engine. I'm gonna actually remanufacture this engine and then sell it. Possibly even convert it to fuel injection. If I convert it to fuel injection, then I can ask for more money. And I will show you how to actually convert it into better fuel injection, electronic fuel injection. This is multi-part fuel injection. It's not really fuel injection. Kinda is, but it's not. We're gonna convert it to electronic fuel injection, where a computer really controls the flow of fuel. And we're gonna convert it over to coil-over ignition system rather than distributor ignition system. I don't want distributors. That's gonna be the most expensive part. Maybe down the road I'll figure out how to make my own coils and let you in on a little secret. Coils are really not that big of a deal when you actually break down the science of it. They're 2 copper windings, and through induction, they're basically little capacitors. They store up electricity and let out 40,000 volts. You know, big burst. So make a nice hot spark versus this, where this is what? One coil right here. If you do distributorless, you have 8 coils. You can even do more coils. Say you have a Hemi. You get a Hemi, man, whew, that's 8 spark plugs. That's 2 spark plugs per cylinder. They share coilovers, but you can even make it so that they each have their own coil, so that they fire at the same time rather than firing separately. With that type of a system, basically the spark will go through one spark plug and into the other, up through it. Everything looks like it's original. To my knowledge, it is. Everything looks to be aged the same. This is the air conditioning accumulator, and it's garbage. The AC does not work on this thing. I will be having to replace the entire system, which can get pricey if you don't know where to find parts. I'll also show you techniques on how to find parts, because believe it or not, the majority of this build is going to be doing homework on how to find materials and parts for as cheap as I possibly can. So far, all I've done is wheel bearings, ball joints, sway bar end links. I have a transfer case that needs to get put into it. Pretty much everything is going to be replaced, rebuilt on this thing. And then down the road, if I decide to sell it, I will. So log on, check us out, comment, subscribe. Please subscribe. You know, I want ideas too. The more ideas you get, the better. You know, I do this alone. You guys can help out. Quests, something you want to see done, I'll figure it out, man. The #1 tool you can have in your toolbox is knowledge. So,
leave your comments below.
Leave your comments below.
Please like and subscribe and share with your friends.
I would love free ideas. Log on, check us out. If you question my genius and creativity, I drew this on a cell phone and then made a t-shirt out of it. This is my depiction of the greatest day in the universe of creation and all that exists. There's 2 unicorns making sweet, sweet love. What's better than that? 2 mythical beasts procreating to extend their legacy underneath the most amazing rainbow that you will never see, other than in this picture.